I remember the exact second my world cracked open. It was the soft pop of a smoke detector battery sliding free, caught on a 7-year-old's tablet camera. My own mother's fingers did the deed, while my sister stood watch like a foreman on a demolition site. And when that video played in a courtroom full of strangers, the air turned thick as wet concrete. I tasted metal. I tasted betrayal. I tasted the end of every story I'd ever told myself about family. My name is Elias Kane, 35, architect, the guy who shows up with a laser level when your dreams sag in the middle. I design places where kids learn to read, where old folks play bingo without the roof leaking on their cards. On weekends, I'm elbow deep in someone else's disaster, replacing a rotted sill, rerouting a downspout, patching a hole no one else noticed until the rain found it. People call me reliable. They don't call me when they need a hug. They call me when they need a wall to hold. 2 years ago, after a hospital stay that cost more than my first car, I moved into the carriage house behind my parents' Victorian. It wasn't charity. It was survival. The place was a gutted shell, mouse highways in the walls, a floor that sloped like a drunk smile, windows painted shut since the Reagan administration. I ripped it down to the studs, ran new Romex until my fingers bled, leveled the joists with shims I cut from scrap cedar, installed a skylight so my daughter Lila could count constellations instead of ceiling cracks. I paid for every screw, every sheet of drywall, every gallon of paint the color of a summer storm. My parents called it temporary. I called it the first place that ever felt like mine. Lila was 6 then. She'd stand on a milk crate beside me, handing over nails like a surgical nurse. "Daddy, is this forever?" she'd ask, her breath fogging the cold glass. "Idiliatanstein." "Long enough," I'd say. "Long enough to matter." My sister Mara is the sun in our family solar system. 5 years. Younger, all sparkle and timing. She plans launch parties for energy drinks and gender reveal explosions that trend on TikTok. Growing up, the house orbited her. Every light dimmed so hers could shine brighter. I built her a tree house when she was 8, installed a zip line when she was 12, painted her bedroom walls the exact shade of influencer pink when she was 16. She never said thank you. She just moved in. I didn't mind. Not really. I was the big brother, the fixer, the one who stayed late to clean up the glitter. The first tremor came on a Sunday in March. The kitchen smelled of lemon polish and rosemary chicken. My mom arranged asparagus like she was staging a magazine shoot. My dad carved the bird with the focus of a man defusing a bomb. Mara swirled her Pinot and said, casual as a shrug, "I'm ready to own something." My fork froze. Lila was building a dam of mashed potatoes around her peas. Mom smiled like she'd rehearsed it. "The carriage house is perfect. Tiny but perfect." Dad nodded, kept carving. No one looked at me. Lila tugged my sleeve. "Daddy, can I have a crispy skin?" I gave her the whole plate. That night, I lay awake listening to the radiator clank like a metronome counting down to something I couldn't name. I kept seeing Mara's smile, how it curved but didn't reach her eyes, how my parents' silence filled the room like rising water. The next week, my mom texted, "Asterisk coffee? Need to talk." Asterisk, I met her at the corner cafe, still in my sight boots, drywall dust on my jeans like chalk ghosts. She had a manila folder, crisp corners, like bad news dress for church. "We've been thinking," she said, stirring sugar she didn't need, "about the carriage house." I waited. Mara saved enough for a down payment. It's time she had roots. I laughed. A short, sharp sound that scraped my throat. "I live there. For now," she said, sliding the folder across the table. Inside, property comps, a survey with the carriage house circled. In red, a draft agreement that ended with 90 days to vacate. The word gift was underlined twice. Gift, like I was a tenant. Like I hadn't rebuilt those walls with my own hands while Lila slept in a pack-and-play. I left the folder on the table. Walked out. The bell above the door jingled like a warning. The certified letter arrived on a Tuesday. Green card. I signed for it like I was accepting a box of live wasps. Asterisk plaintiffs, Richard and Diane Kane. Defendant, Elias Kane. Asterisk, I read it on the stoop while Lila traced the word eviction with her finger. Daddy, why does it say your name like you're in trouble? Because grown-ups are idiots, I said, and meant it. The complaint was a masterpiece of legal poetry. Unlawful detainer, permissive use revoked, interference with plaintiff Mara Kane's reasonable expectation to own her first home. They used that phrase, asterisk first home asterisk, like it was a constitutional right. Like a sheriff's boot on my doorstep was just the final flourish. I called my dad. You sued me. It's not personal, he said. It's paperwork. You put my name on a lawsuit. It's just time, Eli. Mara needs stability. And Lila needs what? A cardboard box. Silence. Then the faint laugh track from whatever show he was watching. Choosing sides. I hung up. That night, I built a fortress of paper. Printed every rent transfer labeled carriage house. Every email. Thanks for covering the taxes again. Eli. We'll pay you back. Every Venmo note. Asterisk April heat. May water. June insulation. Asterisk photos of the skylight I installed while Lila napped. Permits I pulled because your name gets faster approvals, which was never true, but Dad believed it anyway. I built it like I'd build walls, layer by layer, load-bearing. Lila watched from the couch, legs swinging. Are we in trouble? No, Bug. We're in truth. She nodded like that made perfect sense. Then the text started. Aunts I hadn't spoken to since baptism brunches. Uncles who only called when they needed a deck stain. Cousins who spell my name wrong. Family first. Mara deserves this. You've had your turn. I stopped reading. Mara came by one afternoon while I was at a site meeting. I know because Lila told me, eyes wide. She measured my room, Lila said. Said she'd paint it pink. Said I could visit on weekends. I felt the floor drop out from under me. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Beige walls. Tired flags. A clock that lied about the time. The judge had eyes like a blueprint. Sharp, no nonsense. My parents sat shoulder to shoulder like they were holding up the bench. Mara wore a white blazer like she'd been promoted by a lifestyle blog. Their lawyer spoke first. Calm. Expensive. Asterisk permissive use. Revocation. First-time home ownership. Asterisk, he said first home like it was a him. I stood when it was my turn. My voice didn't shake. I'm not a guest, I said. I'm their son. I pay. I fix. I built this life. I laid down the folder. Receipts. Photos. Emails. The judge flipped through them like she was reading load calculations. Then Mara spoke. I'm not the villain. I just want what everyone wants. A place. You do, I said. Just not mine. My dad muttered something about gratitude. The judge raised a hand. Enough. Then it happened. Lila had been drawing in the back row. Quiet. Headphones on. She tugged my ex-wife Sarah's sleeve. Whispered. Sarah shook her head. Lila stood anyway. Your Honor. Her voice was small but steady. Can I show you something Daddy doesn't know? The room froze. The judge nodded. Come forward, sweetheart. Lila walked to the bench like she was carrying the world. Pulled her tablet from her backpack. Press play. The screen filled with our living room. Afternoon light slanting through the skylight I'd installed. Timestamp glowing. The door opened. My mom stepped in. Then Mara. Mom rifled through mail on the counter. Mara walked straight to the smoke detector. Popped the battery. Out with a soft click. Don't touch that, Mom said. Relax, Mara answered. If the inspector fails him, he'll have to leave. Faster. Mom didn't stop her. They moved to my desk. Lifted blueprints I'd been working on for a library edition. We'll say they were old, Mom said. Lila's voice from the stairs. Hi, Aunt Mara. Mara spun. Smiled. Hey, Peanut. Secret, okay? Don't tell Daddy. The video kept going. Mara at the breaker panel. Which one's heat? Not now, Mom said. Winter's too obvious. The judge watched every second. When it ended, she handed the tablet back. Turn to my parents. You want equity? She said. Here's conscience. She looked at Mara. You don't get to sabotage safety for square footage. To my parents, motion denied. Dismissed with prejudice. Injunction granted. Change your locks, Mr. Kane. To Lila. You did good. Lila blinked. Are we moving? Not today, the judge said. I still have the video. Some nights, I play it. Not for anger. For proof. Proof that truth doesn't need volume. Proof that a 7-year-old with a tablet can redraw property lines. Proof that home isn't a gift. It's a choice. I changed the locks the next day. Installed a camera that sends alerts to my phone. Painted the door cosmic cobalt, Lila's favorite crayon. My parents call sometimes. I'll let it ring. Mara bought a condo downtown. Posted a photo of a keychain shaped like a house. Caption, adulting unlocked. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I just don't live there. Sundays, Lila and I build birdhouses, bookshelves, a future with no hidden switches. Last week, she asked, "Do you think Grandma's sorry?" "I think she's learning," I said. Slowly, Lila nodded. Taped a new sign to the door in bubble letters. Home. Underneath, in smaller letters, batteries included. The anger didn't vanish. It just stopped driving. I still see my parents at family events. I stay by the coffee urn. Mom tests jokes. I answer what matters and move when the old magnets tug. Dad tries football small talk. We stand in rooms full of white balloons and futures that don't need me. Mara posts backsplashes and brunch. Good for her. I don't need credit. I don't need an invite. I build light where it belongs. I used to be a utility line, always on, always giving. Now I live where alarms work, where windows open easy, where the person with the key knows how to use it. No one gets to turn my life into their starter home. No one tells my kid to keep secrets. Family won't be the bruise. Boundaries aren't meanness. They're seatbelts. Closure isn't a slam. It's the click of a deadbolt, the whir of a saw when the cut fits, the thunk of a letter in a mailbox, a text that reads she's okay. Maybe my parents never really get it. Maybe Mara never says sorry without a but. What I know is this. When I tuck Lila in, she keeps her tablet close because she wants it, not to hide something for an adult. I'm Elias Kane, architect, father, keeper of my own light. I measure twice, cut once. Don't hide the load. We're okay. More than okay. We're home. If this were you, if the people who taught you to walk try to walk you out of your own life, would you forgive? Or would you change the locks and keep building? Tell me below. I read every word. And if you're watching this at 3 a.m., wondering if your silence is cruel, it's not. It's the sound of staying.